So we have written 3 tests for the add method of our to-dos component. Now, let's move on to the last method, delete. Here we're displaying a confirmation box. If the user confirms, we should call the server to delete this to-do item. And if not, the server should not be called. So we need 2 tests here. Back to our spec. It should call the server to delete a to-do item if the user confirms. Now in this test, apart from changing the implementation of our service, we also want to change the implementation of window.confirm method because we don't want to display a confirm box when running unit tests. So once again, we put a spy on window.confirm method and return value true. So if the user confirms, we want to call the server. Now our second spy is on our service. So service.delete and return value. Now here I just want to return an empty observable because we don't really care about what is returned from the server. So observable.empty. That was the arrange part. Now let's act. Component.delete. We get an ID here. Let's say 1. And finally, the assertion. We want to ensure that the delete method of our service is called. So I'm going to declare a variable here. And then expect spy to have been called. That's one way to write this test. It's a little bit general. We can make it a little bit more specific. I want to make sure that if I pass 1 here, this value is going to the delete method of our service as well. So we can use to have been called with 1. So I want to make sure we are not accidentally passing a different ID to our service. So that was our first test. Now the second one. Let's duplicate this. In this test, we want to make sure that if the user presses the cancel button in the confirmation box, we are not going to call the server to delete that to-do item. So I'm going to change this text to should not in capital. That makes it easier to read. Should not call the server to delete a to-do item if the user cancels. Now here I'm going to change this to false and then change the expectation. Expect not to have been called. Okay, let's test the result. Beautiful. All tests are passing.